Is this a drill or something?
I never planned on killing you, but I will make you share my pain, Kenobi.
It was hard to pick the 7 saddest moments of Star Wars The Clone Wars. Everybody loves a good tearjerker, and the Star Wars saga is definitely full of them. Now, this is a story about war after all, and even the smallest character casualty can come with an unexpectedly heart-wrenching backstory. This is probably the greatest truth of Star Wars The Clone Wars, which follows Anakin Skywalker and his companions as they try to end the galaxy-wide struggle between the Republic and the Separatists. Often put down for being an animated show, The Clone Wars is a surprising minefield of emotional turmoil for the invested fan. But when you think about it, it's not that surprising. This is, again, the story of an ongoing war. Despite its fair share of gags and drive-by moments of peace, The Clone Wars provided some of the most intense stories in the saga, and today we're going to count down the biggest ones. I hope you've got all your feels prepared for this one.
I guess this was her home. Poor little thing. She lost it all.
The wreckage of Numa's home. In Innocence of Ryloth, clone troopers Waxer and Boyle discover a young Twi'lek girl named Numa wandering by herself. After befriending the girl, she leads them through the wreckage of her home. This little walk through Numa's home was one of the more emotional scenes of the first season, and helped establish both Waxer and Boyle as important clone troopers who had specific reasons to fight. When Waxer retrieved Numa's Tuka doll and the girl began to cry, it was hard not to choke up. She was, after all, just a child, and seeing the reality of her life set in on her was almost as painful as it might have been for Waxer and Boyle themselves. After their care for her, Numa began referring to the pair as her brothers. When the troopers left her, they both painted a small symbol resembling Numa on their helmets. Now, in Star Wars Rebels, Numa does the same for the brothers that she still remembers by pinning a small Tuka doll to her jacket and sporting shoulder armor with Boyle's name and the design of the crest of his helmet.
How did they find us?
The Empire is getting better at anticipating our moves.
This will slow them down. Yeah! I got you!
Steele's death. Fans are now well aware of Saw Gerrera, the freedom fighter whose alternative methods earned him an infamous reputation with the Rebellion and Empire alike. We've gotten to spend time with him in Star Wars Rebels as well, but Gerrera's career as a fighter dates back to the Clone Wars, where he fought to liberate his home planet of Onderon from the Separatists. Brash, unruly, and a bit jumpy, the Saw of Rogue One is the result of endless fighting and extreme loss. During the Clone Wars, Saw worked alongside his sister, Steela, with a small rebel group to try and push the Separatists out of Onderon. The tactics were risky and lacked the planning they needed to succeed, so the Jedi were sent to momentarily help before Ahsoka Tano was left behind to see that the Onderon rebels scored a victory. Though a victory short-lived, as war was the only thing that Saw Gerrera knew in his lifetime.
You dropped it back there. Is that your sister?
Steela. This is all I have left of her. Ahsoka, no!
Thank you. Your usefulness has come to an end.
No!
The Mortis arc. The father, son, and daughter are deeply rooted in Star Wars lore now, and for anyone looking for a greater understanding of the Force as a whole, there's really no better place to start than the Mortis arc. But be warned, there be tears here. This intense storyline begins when the father brings Anakin, Ahsoka, and Obi-Wan to the Force-bound otherworldly realm of Mortis after discovering that Anakin is the chosen one. The father, who maintains the balance between the son and daughter, was dying and needed a successor. But his idea to bring Anakin into the picture backfired. While the entire arc is full of wonderful emotional moments, one of the standout scenes happens after Ahsoka is killed by the son of Mortis after he turns her to the dark side. Anakin begs for the father to find a way to bring her back, and the daughter, who serves as the light side to the son's dark, sacrifices her life in order to restore Ahsoka's. By the way, if you're wondering about what's going on with Ahsoka at the end of Rebels Season 2, the Mortis arc may very well provide a little more context for that too. There are sadly plenty of clone trooper deaths I could list off in this video, but for the sake of time and sanity, I'm narrowing down 2 of the most heartbreaking just for you. If you feel someone else deserved to be here, tell me why below, okay? Because now we're going to resume with one that made me cry a lot.
Forgive me, daughter. I am an old fool who believed he could control the future. Now, you are gone, and all is lost.
This is what I was bred for.
'99's death. While he may not have been the perfect clone trooper, 99 was one of the most memorable of the clones, likely because of his standout appearance as a much older man than his fellow troopers. 99 took care of janitorial duties, and his heartfelt appearances on the show introduced us to a kind-hearted character who was loyal and supportive to his fellow clones. This, of course, makes 99 the perfect fodder for angst, and he filled that role very well. After 99 becomes close with Heavy, the other troopers feel awful about having to tell 99 about Heavy's death, and the viewer probably feels awful too. Look at this guy. Why would you ever want to make him sad? 99's tragic death was both heart-wrenching and heroic. In Season 3's episode, Arc Troopers, 99 gets up and helps defend his fellow clone troopers when Kamino is attacked. Just as he's about to reach a batch of explosives to supply the clone troopers with, 99 is shot down, and his death is just painful to watch.
We'll see each other again. I mean, how else am I supposed to get this back from you? You deserve it. You're one of us.
Stand down, soldier! Stand down! Get on your knees! No! Stay back! Don't do it, soldier! Get away from me!
No! Five's death. The entire arc leading up to Five's death is one of the most interesting and soul-crushing in the saga. In Season 6, Fives is the only remaining member of the original Domino Squad, and he finds out a little too much about what's actually happening on Kamino with clones just like him. This is where things get bad. Fives encounters clone trooper Tup, who has been imprisoned, drugged, and prepared for dissection after the chip in his brain containing the data for Order 66 malfunctioned. Fives just barely manages to help Tup escape when the former trooper ultimately dies. Clued into what was happening with the chips and who the Kaminoans were truly serving, Fives brought the information back to Coruscant, where Palpatine himself revealed his entire plan to Fives and attempted to have the trooper killed. Fives, accused of trying to assassinate the Chancellor, desperately tries to tell his fellow troopers. Unfortunately, by then, the pressure and anxiety of the situation had gotten to Fives, as well as drugs that he was given by Nala Se. Unable to properly communicate, Fives is shot down by his fellow troopers when he reaches for a weapon. Needless to say, there were a lot of moments like this where the mortality and personhood of the clone troopers became the forefront of an episode arc. Plenty of other fallen troopers deserve some quick, honourable mentions, including Waxer, Heavy, Echo, and Hardcase.
At last, you have returned, and you are safe again.
Ventress backstory montage in Night Sisters. After 2 seasons of chasing down Jedi as a Sith acolyte, Asajj Ventress was finally given the many layers she deserved in Season 3. Ventress's arc spins off of her efforts to train Savage Opress, as well as enact revenge on Count Dooku, who betrays Ventress and tries to have her killed on the Emperor's order. Now, this entire arc is full of really incredible and very sad moments, but our first genuine look into her backstory is something of a sensory overload. As the Night Sisters work on her, Ventress's memories are awakened, and they take us vividly through her formative years. The infant Asajj is given up to the Hull Stead, an infamous criminal who she serves for a couple of years until he's gunned down by a few weak-way pirates on the planet Ratatark. In the middle of the chaos, Jedi Knight Kai Narek stumbles upon the young Ventress, and after noticing her impressive Force sensitivity, he takes her back to the Order. This goes extremely well until Ventress is a teenager and a beloved master is killed. Ventress grabs his lightsaber and springs into action for revenge, officially kicking off her path toward the dark side when she meets Dooku. We jump to Dooku's betrayal and then back to Ventress, suddenly a character who seems even more whole and much more understandable than she ever was before that. This little memory montage is especially great to watch before diving into Christy Golden's Dark Disciple, in which Ventress trains Jedi Knight Quinlan Vos to better understand the dark side so that they can take down Dooku together.
Dooku, he betrayed me. I know. I had hoped you would find your way to us sooner. I will have revenge.
They're asking you back, Ahsoka. I'm asking you back.
Ahsoka leaves the Order. What kind of video would this be if the most emotional scene from the Clone Wars went forgotten? After being accused of bombing the Jedi Temple and then freed of her sentence with zero apologies from the Jedi who tried to sentence her, Ahsoka Tano faces her master and decides to take her leave. This moment does more than just add to Ahsoka's ongoing story. It also lends plenty of context to Anakin's actions and his attitude towards the Order by the time Revenge of the Sith rolls around. His desperate actions to defend his Padawan warrant little more than disdain from the Jedi Order, which very likely lent to his disillusionment with the Jedi. As for Ahsoka, this scene really signifies her maturity throughout the series. The spirited, snippy young Padawan worked her way up through the ranks to earn military titles, free planets from separatist rule, and become an incredible Jedi warrior. While Ahsoka's fate still hangs in the balance, this remains one of her most memorable, emotional scenes.
I understand wanting to walk away from the Order.
I know.
If you've made it this far without feeling at least a little sad, then do yourself a favor and cozy up with the scenes I've mentioned, as well as a box of tissues. But if you think I've missed a big scene, please, by all means, let me know down in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed the video, please leave a thumbs up and consider subscribing. It really helps the channel out. But the beauty of this video is it is just the start of the discussion. Our love for Star Wars surrounds and it binds us together. So I know it's been a hard one to get through and a lot of memories, but the Clone Wars was really sad. That's my takeaway. And I like to talk to you about a lot of things, but this is a hard one to delve into. But if you love Star Wars, I always want to talk to you about it. It's as simple as that, my friends. If you want to stay up to date with the latest Star Wars videos on origins, games, and theories, don't forget to use those force powers of yours and hit subscribe. And hey, leave a comment below about what you want to see in future videos. It may just get covered. Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you. Always.